I'm going to attempt to be more lucid on this video. Somebody wanted me to complete sentences, and the reason I don't is because I'm not sure. I guess I don't want to be too esoteric and then I might lose somebody, so I'm just throwing out sentence stems. Because I'm not sure that, I'm thinking to myself, well, this is like inside baseball from the age group I'm in, so, I mean, some of the jokes, right, people just don't, they're like, what the fuck? And so I didn't know actually what part he wanted me to complete, but I noticed he used the, he typed, please, PLZ, and I wanted to say, well, you know, dude, man, bro, that's like right there, you are sitting on the crest of being no follow through, right? And some people actually put caps. Of course, the internet kind of made people think, well, lowercase is okay because otherwise you're not going to bring up any fucking websites. And so that kind of, I almost think that people, I made lowercase font on my business cards because I think I did that day one actually, just because I was really very I wanted everything to fit. So I actually did a lowercase. I don't know if the internet was around, but I always thought that was a way to make it into a logo. But anyways, I'm watching the empowered trading guy, and he's a coach, and these guys talk about structure all the time. If I had $1 for every time empowered trading Akel Stokes used the word structure, I could just trade without a screen, without a monitor. So it's an interesting look at the euro versus and I sped it up to like hyper speed because I was never good at speed reading, but I'm good at speed playback in YouTube. I'm enjoying the compressed. We've all heard these cliches, so if we speed up these videos, I mean, life's short. You only know this when you get older. But you just got to start. I mean, speed reading, could never do it because I always felt like if I miss one, and this is because I was raised on grammar like this guy that wanted me to complete the sentences, because it is, I guess it's annoying, right? But, I mean, I'm leaving it open to interpretation. I want your imagination to finish the end of the sentence. So I don't want to lead you. I don't want to lead the witness. And I don't want to, what do you call it, prime you to a bias. And I think that analysis is a double-edged sword because it doesn't take into account what it takes to make money. Trading means to place a trade. And every time I place a trade, if I'm too close to the market, I think to myself, in other words, if it's a limit order, or if I just buy at the market, I think, geez, what an idiot. But if I place an order right on the edge, and the funny thing about the market, they say you need a trading edge. I guess life is so stupid and simple when you get older because it comes down to these simple kind of like yin and yang. In other words, it's black and white. So people say you need a trading edge. Well, trade at the edge of the market. No, it's counterintuitive because when it's when they're pressing the market, the prices in the edge of a range, you think to yourself, well, of course, you're looking at the void below to fill. And you're thinking, all they have to do is tip this thing a little bit. And I looked at this about 6 years ago when the dollar, the euro to the dollar was sitting at, what was it, sitting at like $1.23 or something. But there was a huge hole below, and I knew about holes a long time ago. And, caves and all these, like, they have these sinkholes down south. And we had a sinkhole here from the plumbing. And, just eat a whole house. Can you imagine coming home, your house has just been engulfed? Talk about an engulf pattern, right? Your whole house is fucking gone. Anyways, I also tangential thinker, so I don't know what the fuck. So I sped up his playback here. But he's going to become a structure trader real quick because of the election caused a wick. And I would say that if you put up a line chart, which, now this is the thing that's kind of frustrating if you've studied RSI deeply. RSI is based on closing prices, and this is where I got the brainstorm to run the 1 period moving average, which is closing prices on top of bars, which is kind of a a blend of volatility meets trend, or volatility meets structure, honestly. So the structure, now watch, now I got this on hyper. If you can't understand him, you're going to have to slow his part down.
All right, so in front of you is the daily chart of the Euro-Canadian dollar. And I always like starting my analysis off on the higher time frame. That way I can get that bird's eye view of the market and really start to gain some perspective. And this is
See, gain perspective. Now, this has nothing to do with making money at this point, and this is, I think, the biggest mistake. And I know this sounds completely against everything you've ever thought about the market. But all I care about tonight is the dollar yen. It's sitting at 113.68. Will it drop down 8.5 pips so I can buy it and scalp it? Will it drop down 50 pips later on tonight while I'm sleeping and I can capture a big fucking grid of goddamn plungeola? That's all I'm thinking about. I wouldn't think to myself, well, let me do a bird's eye view. Right? This is what a stalker does, right? Well, let me see. I don't know. Let me see where she works. And
it's a very interesting chart, and we're going to start by looking at our last move. So the last move that we made on this chart was a bullish trending move, right? We had an initial swing low to swing high. We had what we...
But fucking A, dude. I mean, he's going to edit out the other swing hole, swing out. So there's swings to swings, right? And notice the RSI here. I'll attempt to zoom in. It's a skill set on this system. So look, this is closing prices, mind you. And this is divergence. This is a completely, now this is called a hidden divergence a little bit. He's got, I think, a 7-paired RSI, but look at this triple fucking divergence. Oh, I got the wrong color pen here. Please hold. Okay, so this is why I do these videos, is because I just think this is malpractice, right? I'm just trying to save people. Another thing, RSI, you could trade RSI in the top-bottom structure mode at this point. The clarity, when you put RSI, just try it. 1 period moving average with RSI. If you fucked up those divergences, you need to need to stop trading. If you can't see the triangle, some guy said at this, we were at this, the guy that taught me RSI. I gave the guy like $3,000. He taught me everything he knew. But it was, I mean, I paid rent to be with him. And what he said was stuff that was so weird. I thought, really? Now, we all trade on computers now. He said that his charts were done by hand, and when he wrote down the RSI number, not the price, he noticed this relationship, and he had this analog connection to it, and I thought, oh, this is why this guy's making money. Plus, it slows you down, right? If you're on a computer and you can just pull the trigger on a trade, you literally can scalp for a living quite well. If you are standing there with a gun in your hand, like you can obviously, if you're a hunter and you keep going out every day and you've got the right gear, but you'd have to have like, in these markets, you need to have like 5 guns or something loaded. Like you ever seen the classic picture? I wanted to start photography when I saw this Apocalypse Now, the poster for that movie. The guy sitting there with like 10 Nikons around his neck, beat the fuck. The photographer, like that shot, you're like, oh, you need like, right, you need a bunch of cameras. You got a black and white, you got a low light camera. It's pre-fucking loaded, dude. A photographer doesn't, well, these days you can go out with the digital camera, right? But this is the fucking problem. People are taking 1,000 pictures of bullshit out there. You know, I still got an analog camera, high-end shit, right? I go out, you know, this is a fucking, it's a spiritual event. I'm an atheist, but it's still a spiritual event. And because you got real film, you got emulsion, and I can send that out. Honestly, the truth be known, you could take an analog 35 millimeter, send it out, have it scanned at higher res than any fucking, what do you call it, sensor. And I went down that highway so I could go down the photo highway. All other people, traders, goes, please hold. I'm gonna go. You know, you can go down the photo highway. It's gorgeous, right? You take lenses from analog old school, put them on and get the nice sensor. You can still do the sensor thing, and they try to emulate film with the sensor. They can do it inside of the digital domain edits, but there's still a aliasing and pixelation. It's not the real thing. Like film will, if you do analog shots, do a high-res scan, you're going to get the organic distortions that you would get in emulsion that you wouldn't get in digital. So, and you got the, and you're able to scan these markets and look for trades. I'm going to put a link to this guy here that I listened to. True algorithmic trader. He's running this 40-core Xenon, and this thing is running 10,000 trade plans all at once, and it's a machine. Forget the scanner for the Gartley. This thing's doing 10,000 Gartleys, and it's doing correlations between when this thing opens and that. It's looking at so much shit. And he's built something that makes money. His goal is to make $1 billion. He'd probably do it. But the machine is looking for opportunity. But it wouldn't take much to have an edge in the market. Is the edge of the market? Isn't that funny? The wick is your fucking entry. And RSI is showing you here now. The guy that was, I'll go back to the guy that taught me the RSI. I can see without even looking. You have to really drill out on these candles to find the RSI signals, but you can see a reversal here now. They call this the hidden. What these guys don't even know what they're talking about. They're really distorting the whole thing. RSI. They didn't take the time to go to the original meaning, so they have their own name for it. Maybe they don't want to get sued. I don't know. But this is the this is a triple reversal. In a downtrend, it becomes more overbought at a lower price, and you can't exactly see them precisely, but you would see the peaks and valleys so fucking plain. Here's a continuation. More oversold at a higher price off of these two levels. Connect the dots here. You have to pull the trigger on the clock, though. This is daily. You got to play that, pull the trigger. Triple fucking top sell-off. Easy money. Triple divergence here. Divergence here up the yin-yang, right? A triangle forming. And even the Elliott wave people said, oh, I can see the Elliott wave, right? ABC correction, right? ABC cleans it up. Here's ABC, right? You can see it in the RSI. Elliott wave is so, it's really about, a lot of people miss the point of Elliott wave. Wave 3 is the biggest. Wave 4 is consolidation. So anytime you see sideways, wave 4, and there's a fifth wave, the end of the trend. I mean, it's that simple. You can't do shit like this. Well, this is the ABC of the 5, 8. No, fuck, dude. If the market's not doing shit, you're in wave 4. And when you look at your screen. So it's in wave 4 a lot. And this is wave 5. This is the last wave. Anyways, I'm totally sidetracked. I'm here to look over the shoulder of another trader. But this guy's a coach, right? You don't need a sex coach, do you? Trading's like having sex.
Call an outside return, and then we put in a new structure high right up here. Now, it may not look like your traditional new structure high or your break and close above structure because of this spike right here, but I'm going to ignore this move. And the reason I am is because this was the news that came out on our U.S. election date last year when Trump was elected, and it was one of the biggest surprises that we've seen in an election. And well, the market reacted across the board, and you can see we reacted and we came right back down to kind of continue our normal path of motion.
So he has to get rid of that. But if you had a line chart, see, our side doesn't even show that. And in fact, there's a sell here. If anybody can see it, what you're looking for is an inversion of divergence. This is the triple sell here. And if you take off the wicks, this is the trade, was to buy the wick because the wick was the vacuum. If you see a wick, it means you missed a trade, right? You missed an entry on limits. You see this wick here? RSI doesn't see that wick. Now, if you do RSI in highs, you will actually see, and I did it. I did RSI 5 ways a Tuesday without a Xenon, without a 40 core. I just sat there and looked at RSI, and I've done templates. Some guy wanted templates. Dude, I could put templates up. I probably got 500 templates. Just wacky shit. Layered Akinashis. And it's visually stunning. I must say, this is like buying wardrobes for chicks you don't even know yet. I mean, you're like, hey, if she comes back to you just go to the you run out of 26 files, you're at AABB file, pull out the clothing for that one check. Here you go. Gosh, I just thought he drew on my chart there for a second. Okay, wait. So go back to his nonsense. And I just get a kick out of this guy. He's so adorable because he's got his best foot forward. He actually does retakes. At the end, he shows bloopers. Dude, I just go, right? Just go. Everything I'm going to say is going to be inappropriate. I know that. Like I'm a loser right off, just going in. I know that it's going to be a down slope. Shit's going to fuck up. I know that. I'm counting on it. In fact, that's where all the money's at. And look at this vacuum fill up here. Jesus, that was a ton of money.
In mind, I'm just going to X this out just because I know exactly what it was. So I'm looking at new structure highs, or previous structure highs, I should say. I'm going to look at this kind of triple top 2618 right here, where price action came up in 1, 2, hit 3 tops, retraced off of that, put in a kiss of death actually, and then fell back down, and the level a little bit above that to identify our structure. And you can see that we've broken and closed above it. Now,
okay, I hope I haven't fucked up the audio on this. So now look at how he is. I'm just mumbling to myself in case that guy wants me to finish. Yeah, what the fuck? Now, you look this far back, I just think, damn it. Look at this chick that was so... When was she here? Is she coming back? Holy fuck me. See, this is just a heartbreaker. I never like to zoom out because I can see all the trades I missed. I'm like, damn. So, the problem here is if you made money on this trade, and I've done it. I hate to brag, but I've done this trade, right? And made like more money than Jesus. And then I expected the market to do that during this phase. And I'm like, I think I just got killed on commissions. And so you could give back money just from expecting this kind. And look at this climax shoulder. RSI is not really diverting, but if you just sold RSI above here. See, RSI is a filter just to sell, right? Just sell. Sell every time it touches up here. And that's another thing about RSI. Yeah, you're going to get your ass kicked, but look at this sell up here. You going to tell me indicators don't work? Are you fucking nuts? Of course they work, but you need a trade plan for them. Abso-fucking-lutely. If you buy down here, oversold, just buy everything that's extremely oversold. How'd you do? Okay, I got a little clobbered here, maybe, right? Dude, I blow your brains out on these trades. So indicators do work, but let me cherry pick this. Look at these entries. Are you kidding me? Now, once you say, well, I'll take everything in this range. Okay, now you run the risk of overtrading, but you're killing it. Fuck that noise. Like, if this is 50, put 50 on your RSI here. Honestly, RSI of a 5-period RSI. This is conservative people, right? This is people that aren't on meth. 5-period RSI, put a 50 level in. Buy below 50, sell above 50. But how do you sell? You're going to sell on the clock on that. And you're also going to put maybe stops and limits around it, pepper a little bit, get used to trading two different styles. I mean, trading at the market is definitely like, it's great because it's like walking around, it's like whack-a-mole, right? I mean, you walk around with a hammer and you're just smashing. I watched this guy with a, playing a computer game, and he had the gun, a real gun, a mock gun. And, when you're inside the game, right, people are wearing these virtual, so it's fun to trade at the market because you're taking action and you're curing the fear of missing out, which, I don't even know if that ever goes away because letting the market come to you, this is presupposing, imagine you're a really talented musician, but nobody knows it. So you have to go out and trade at the market. You have to go play somewhere where it's not even the right venue. So you're going to go trade something where you don't even know what the fuck you're doing. But I think you got to just do that to accept the cost of trading. Because once that's done, now you can go into this, what Mark Douglas calls is the carefree state of mind, not a careless state of mind. Like you accept you're drunk, and then you just make sure your phone's set up for, like, you set your clocks forward. Yeah, the reason why I'm not completing my sentence is because I found a better idea. You set your clocks forward so you're not late. And tricks like that. You have to trick yourself in a way. Also, you have to, what I spent $2,000 to learn from Van Tharp is that you have to see yourself jumping out of an airplane while you're on the ground. So you're looking at yourself jump out of that airplane. And of course, the exercise that they didn't really give you the underlying, like when somebody's testing you, asking you ridiculous questions, you're like, okay, so what's the point of this? And of course, they want you to experience the exercise of being in somebody else's shoes so that you don't have a bias. So you don't have a dog in the fight or whatever you call it. And so that's really, I think, the balanced, I'm flat the market and I could get in. I trust if it really bothered the fuck out of me, I could buy a little bit here. Like right now, I could see buying a little bit of dollar yen, thinking I could build into this. But then once you get the discipline where you say, you know what, just in case it drops 2 fucking pips. Now this is the threshold. When you go from a realistic view of what can happen, and which guy you want to be. Do you want to be the guy that's willing to wait 15 minutes for a better price, or 15 days? And what to do in the meantime, right? 15-day wait might be pushing it. And so you have to know your threshold for patience. And if you're not patient, or you want to practice shooting. Now, when you go to the shooting range, I think you use real bullets, but I think you use dummy arrows when you go archer thing. And people are in this archery thing, right? People are so rich. I mean, as far as time they have to blow, I don't even know why these poor people aren't out just fucking doing really cheap shit, like playing a harmonica, right? Okay, I just got sidetracked here. Anyways, I don't know what point I'm making. But you see, it's like this continuous, you're staring down the gun of, should I do it now? Or should I cue it up? Right? Should I shoot everything with the digital camera and think that everything I'm looking at's tits, like my meal I'm going to post it on Facebook? I got a buddy who's living in California, and I don't know if he thinks he's I don't even think the guy has a job, honestly. I just see shit he posted, like he's been here, he's been there. Last thing he was at wine tasting. It's almost like he's doing his bucket list in a hyper fast mode. Okay, so here we are, waiting for the market. And I would say it's better to buy 2 pips deep if your broker lets you than to buy at the market, or 2 pips higher than you are. And right there, as soon as you turn that corner, I think psychologically you start to think, now here's where the bad part is that you're thinking, well, fuck, if I would have bought at the market, I'm glad I didn't buy at the market, and I'm kind of upset that the market's dropped 4 pips now, and I'm actually underwater on my buy low, sell high theory. The yen's going up now that I said I would have bought at the market. And so that's another problem, right? But it's building the mental muscle to cross over that threshold, and then you're relaxed with the idea of throwing in orders 2, 4, 6, 8 pips deep and trading bigger, but not at the same price. You're trading bigger by covering a larger area. So now you're the scalper, you're the swing trader, you're the trend trader. You'd be all 3 people at once. A composite trader is a composite operator that Wyckoff talks about, but these guys were saying that, oh, well, Wyckoff was trading. He knew all these guys had traded. But yeah, they're all trading for different reasons. So there's a big commingling of people that are willing to trade at fair value, to trade on the edge. And the edge is scary because you're right to the edge. And fair value is when the market's in the consolidation thing, and you can get in at the market there. Higher probability that if you Get in there when the market's quiet at the market. You're not getting bad spreads and stuff like that. And you can look at these baby patterns on the 5 minute and the 1 minute. And you can trade, you know. You can make 8 pips on some decently sized position. You have a high probability. Plus you have like a buy limit bank that's based on that same, maybe it's scattered below. But that's something that would be like maybe a whole nother broker is going to run that bank of buy limits. So let me just rifle through this because I'm not sure that this recording, because I could hear garbled playback when I was playing him back. I'm not sure it invaded my my how many gigarams I got. So I'm going to go rifle through his thing here. And let's see how do we get back. I got to get out of drawing mode. I guess I got to pause between. I can't draw real fast. I don't have a 40-core Xenon for this recording.
I don't see a massive amount of room to the upside. This market has really also been in a little bit of consolidation, more of a sideways movement than anything. But I do think there's a chance that we come back up and at least retest our previous structure highs right here, maybe putting in something like a double top, even if this thing is going to reverse. And that's going to be important because I'm not shooting for the moon with these trades, guys. I'm not looking for these 1,000-pip moves. I'm just looking for a little bit of opportunity. And for the market to move from where we're currently at.
Well, I'd say you missed your opportunity because you didn't buy yesterday on this pullback RSI at the 50-yard line. You got a top, bottom, and RSI right here. So if you do tops become bottoms, this is where I learned the top become bottom thing. There's a top become a bottom. Here's a breakout of a range. Any mini zigzags in here. This is a wave 4. Here's a wave 4. Here's a wave 4. Wave 4. Look at this screaming trend. You got pullbacks here in RSI. You could buy on the clock. This is the only chances to get in on the daily clock. Buy this pullback, buy that pullback in RSI. That's it. That's all you get. She's done. Bam. And this is wave. This would be wave 3. And this would be like almost a perfect Elliott wave inside here, possibly like 1, 2. Even that counts wrong. Actually, you know, people talk about 3 drives. I talked to so many traders I can't even tell you. I hope this thing fuck up. They say 3 drive. They say all this stuff, and you just got to laugh, right? Here's a 3 drive. 1, 2, 3. How often does that happen? Look at this 1 drive. Rip your face off. Yeah, as soon as they tagged and bagged, all the wicks were the entries. Wick entries, the bodies, all your orders are sitting at the edge of that. Can you imagine that fucking trade? I guess you don't see this stuff till later on. Look at this pounding wick right up into congestion, right up into fair value. So it comes in, picks up inventory at fair value, supply zone, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But the idea is that you got an order there. You shit your pants. This Dante trader, he says, I pull my orders there. And I missed that whole trade. Of course. We're scared shitless if we put our order here. You put a buy limit here? And you've been tagging and bagging on the daily dollar with... You have a day job and you're fucking milking this thing. If you have a day job, you can just keep selling up here. Over and over. Why it stops, right? Because it's a daily chart. You keep buying at support. You keep selling at resistance. Fuck the big structure. Fuck this shit here. This is all the stuff you missed. Why didn't you buy here? Here's the trade block. Right? Trade block is the body. The shadow knows. Remember the shadow knows? And the shadow, this is the thing. Why do they call it a real body? Because that's the real, that's all, that's time. That's the time. The wick is a shadow because we don't, it's not real. You can't trade that wick unless you have a trade plan for it. The real body, that's why they talk about the engulf pattern. It engulfed, it's a small bar takes out the volatility there, closes into it, but it's the closing prices that make the engulf. And that was an amazing trade. If you had the balls to place buy limits scattered up there just before the election, you're a fucking genius. Look at it, rips here. Supposed to come, buyers are supposed to come in. Now he's talking about getting in this. 2 ways to get long on this. You gotta love this, man. You learn so much from people.
At about really call it 149.80s to about 151s. Plenty of room there. So let's go down to an hourly chart and give us a zoomed in view of what price action is actually doing. So here's our
and then he's going to go to price action. Let's look at all the trades we missed here. Now, there's still so much fucking data in the screen. It's so unnecessary unless you really want to hindsight pick this. Here's the sells you missed on the reversal of RSI. Notice the one. Let me get out a better. Okay, here, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 signals. You have to sell here. You sell here because this is the first more overbought at a lower price. See this rising? He has stretched this out. Look at the divergence you missed. Beautiful, right on the clock. So you like to sell on limits here, sell on the clock there. Load that fucking wagon. Same thing here. Look at the divergence. Here's a trade you missed. Why doesn't he just say, look at the fucking trades we missed, and look at this vault trade, the vestibule. Holy fuck me. This is the other one he missed too. Sheer auction madness. Scalp to here. Bam, you're out. Like, see that whole fill? That is a wick on the 4 hour. You can just see that's a hammer. Here, you have a vault of limits. Reversal. Retrace. Get out at previous structure. Here, volatility breakout. Maybe you're still holding through this drama. You load on the volatility breakouts with buy stops, wave 4, right? Zigzag and RSI means wave 4, continuation flag down. It's just pure hell watching this poor guy. He should have buy limits peppered in here, but he's going to put in one ticket. These guys are nuts. Why do they torture people? This is like university. So I'm driving back with this doctor from the university, and I said to him, I was giggling so hard. I said, you mean you went to 8 years of this shit? And he goes, yeah. I said, dude, I could teach you what they taught you in 1 fucking year or less. In fact, if you have had a brain, I could teach it to you in 3 days. But they spoon feed this shit. Come to our this, come to our that. It's part of the community. I'll tell you what, maybe I'm just not a people person, but I actually am. No, I mean, doggone it, you know, people like me, but in real person, I'm almost polite. Of course, I tortured a snowflake at the dollar store because she wouldn't give me cash back. And I said, oh, unless I have maybe if I have a gun. She said that was very, she said that wasn't amusing or something. She didn't find that amusing in the least bit. So let's go to the playback here. But can't you just see all these missed trades in here? I could stare at this thing all day and think, here was the last signal to go long in RSI. A more oversold at a, see anybody catch that? Secret entry, more oversold at a higher price. You can't see it because you got these fucking candles, but there's an entry here that's golden. And you're starting to clean stops here. All the money management thing. Here's a topic on the bottom. There's a structured trade he could talk about all day long. There's so many in here. My God, it's just mind-boggling. The top becomes the bottom with RSI confirming. Here, moreover, bought it at a higher price than that. Still in a downtrend. You got to sell on the clock. You got to pull that trigger, baby, on the 1 hour. Hit that clock or have your limits up here. Here's the failure. Here's the top become about on 1 hour, just complete madness. But you got to know when the party's over. You get divergence here in RSI. Down this trade block. Back up into the apex of this triangle. You got to dump. Trust me, there's another place to get. It's like a revolving door of insanity, these markets. And he's on the 1 hour here. He could die. Look at this. So doesn't matter. These are all the women you just never met, and you're not going to meet them. So just forget about it. They're probably already, smoking crack or something. Okay, let's see here.
Our structure high, the initial top, the trigger bar from the higher time frame. And you can see that price action since coming to that level is kind of put in a retracement. We put in a bearish trend. We came up, we got a little head and shoulders action here, which is a reversal pattern, right? Boom. And then we essentially continued on our way down. right? Creating new structure lows, outside returns, new structure lows, right? And then an outside return. Now here's what's interesting. So after our previous outside return right here.
Notice he's tracking price. He's not tracking the holes the price is falling into. That's the whole point of this. Is this, you know, about 15 years ago, I'm going to get this sentence out. 15 years ago, or 20 years ago, this term price discovery. They said, you get better price discovery. And I thought, you mean they're discovering my stops? Like price discovery, it just sounds so abstract. But that's what it is. The market's discovering price. It's on the search. It's on the whole search for the holy price.
Here, the market has put in yet another reversal pattern as we refused, right? We refused to create lower lows.
It's actually looking to settle. It's looking for to come to a consensus. I used to get Consensus magazine. I spent like $60 a month. $40 a month for Consensus. Came on this really thin parchment paper and had all the commodities in it. It was really cool looking paper. Has a nice sound to it. You feel like a real trader.
Lows, we consolidated for a bit before creating, right, a higher high, higher close right here. This was essentially another head and shoulder.
Oh boy, that higher high, higher close talk, man. There's a guy that does a video where he goes, this is a higher high, higher low, lower low, low. He goes through this whole thing. I thought, man, this is like, wow. I was like sleeping on nails.
Shoulders formation. If I go over here to my little left toolbar, you can see that we have left shoulder, our head, right? This slanted line.
Why is there the need to torture us with all the you know, yeah, I could draw that shit all day long. I can make conjectures, right? You could conjecture all day. Come on. Where's the trade plan?
This trend line is going to be our neckline right here, and here's our right shoulder. And just like we saw up here, again, this is a reversal pattern, and we'd expect some type of continuation in that new direction of the trend. So keeping that in mind, right? Let's go ahead and
well, fucking buy it right here. Our side's overbought. That doesn't really mean anything because it can still keep going up. But isn't the obvious thing the pepper buy limits at previous highs like here?
Most of this, I'd like a clean chart. Keeping that in mind, the question is,
here's what I'll give you. I mean, this is a freebie. Put a buy limit here, right? Because this is where the buyers should come in. Put one here. Put one where the stop hunt is, where there's more price discovery. Just put orders in there. And put sell limits here, sell limits here, sell limits here. New highs. For the kickback, retracement. It's kind of boring. You know, it kind of does ruin the fun. I guess suppose the way that I'm looking at the market in price discovery terms, it's just not sexy. I get it. I mean, I know it's just stupid, but what are you going to do? Here, buy at the market. Buy in a breakout. Actually hedge it. Put a buy stop and a sell stop above. I already see the trade plan. It's got to be a volatility trade plan. You've been going sideways for, well, I don't know, it's my Asian session. What time of day this is here. Or you can see the trade plan.
If price action is going to go higher, right? If this is going to be kind of the reversal of the bearish trend, we're going to see some type of upward move, right? Typically, when the market moves, it typically moves in waves of 3. So you have, this will be 1, this will be 2. We can expect one more move up. But if we're going to expect one more move up, and the question is,
just think how ridiculous what he just said was. It moves in waves of 3. How did it work out here for you? Let's find every instance that fucked up. Well, it typically moves in waves of 3. Here's 1. And we're at the same flag he's at here. 2, 3. Wah, wah, wah. I mean, you could pick out so many failures of that idea. Here's a 1, 2, 3. So you're right? Typically moves in waves of 1, 2, 3. Wow. Look at this price action. Now, people talk about price action, but they never talk about volatility. I still don't get how they're not fucking hitting that topic. It's price action. Here's price action. Here's lack of price action. What the fuck? Am I the only one watching these videos just beating my head against the wall? I mean, why do I make these videos? Because so I don't fucking kick the cat that's the stray cat outside.
How can I get involved? And there's 2 ways that I see right now.
How can I get involved? This is what I say when I see this girl at the bar. How can I get involved? Maybe I should take the distributor cap off her car and help her fix it. Then she could be the damsel in distress that I could rescue. And then I could drop some of those roofies in her drink. Get some Quaaludes. Go old school.
Left, let's put the head and shoulders deal back on there real quick. That way you guys can see it. All right, so here's our head and shoulders deal right here. Let's just close it out like that. So there's two ways this price action or this chart can move higher. Currently, we're putting in what's called a bullish flag formation, right? Where price action has made an impulsive move up, right? Essentially a straight move up.
Impulsive. She's impulsive, all right. Bitch is crazy.
And then we've consolidated sideways, right? We've consolidated nice, high, and tight here. And this is typically a...
That's how I like them, high and tight.
A sign of a bullish breakout, meaning that price action coils up, coils up, coils up, and then boom, it breaks to the upside. And when we break to the upside, we typically go the distance of the flagpole.
He's going the distance. He's going for speed.
Now, does that mean you need to take profit at this distance? You can. You can see that would run right up into our...
You can, but... Oh, God, I'd be taking profits all the way and going short the other way, right?
Initial reversal, our double top right here, the double top that we're looking for on a higher time frame, I should say. But you can also use some Fibonacci analysis and some other type of structure analysis to look for targets as well.
But that's the trade. The trade's over. Now, what was the point of the aerial view at the beginning of this whole fucking video? You're trying to... This is hilarious. I like these guys. Okay, so we have a runway. We're going to launch the plane, but there's a runway to the runway to the runway. And then we're eventually going to get on the big fucking runway, and we're going to take off. We're going to taxi for fucking 16 hours. The flight's an hour.
Yeah, we can take, say, a Fibonacci extension tool. We can take a Fibonacci retracement tool. We can throw those bad boys on, see if there's any confluence between the two.
Them bad boys. Wow. And then we look for confluence. I love this. Okay, so you're gonna go to court. You got some psycho killer you're defending, right? This is your living. You're a high profile attorney, then you make a bunch of money. And you've already rehearsed the whole case, how it's gonna unfold, what the witness is gonna say, how the jury's gonna vote. Like, why even go, right? You won the case. You don't know how it's going to unfold. What are you, nuts?
You can see we have a 786 and a 1618 right here. We have a 127 and a 618 retracement right there. We use any of those to look for targets as well with that. We're not here in these YouTube videos to really get specific into target placement and whatnot. What I want to show you is just the projection of looking for a move higher in this market and then kind of a little...
So let's prime you to be bullish. When you might be able to scalp it, sure, it might be a short scalp. You don't know. She might be like a lesbian.
Sample, I guess, of different methods you can use to pick those targets, whether you're aggressive or conservative. So one way to take advantage of this is...
Well, there we go. Conservative and aggressive traders. Now, that's quite a fork in the road, and that's already been predetermined, huh? What people... Well, you must be an aggressive trader because you're like just trading. What are you, nuts?
Play the bullish breakout. If you guys haven't seen it, go back through the YouTube archives. I did a few videos on how I trade breakouts. I think one is actually called How I Trade Breakouts, and I talk about 3 ways to trade these breakout patterns. So just go through the past archives and watch it. The second way would be to wait.
3 ways with 1 ticket. It's more like you should take 10 ways, like this guy with the Xenon. He's running 40 trade plans. And in the interview, I'm going to post the interview in here. He says in the interview, you've got to have 10, you got to have all these robots running. And your diversification is in that. See? So here's this guy in a way to make $1 billion, and he's using technology to trade it. And obviously, you have to have a robot that does breakouts and a robot that does limits, and he trades on limits. He day trades on limits. He goes flat at the end of the session. He goes completely flat. This guy makes money. I don't know if he doesn't have a blinged out channel, but he's making fucking money.
For retracement. Again, this line right here, this is our neckline from that head and shoulders formation. And just as there's 3 ways to play breakout, there's a few ways to trade head and shoulders. You can obviously trade it right here at the shoulder. But in the traditional sense, what you want to do is you want to look for a retest, right? A retest of that neckline before buying it up, just like a trend continuation trader would. And this neckline is going to come in.
Wouldn't you just short the fuck out of it here and ride it to here? So this is what I don't get. Which runway are we going to have sex on? Or are we going to wait till we get the Mile High Club going here? Are we going to bang when are we going to finally load the wagon on this pullback here? Now we're presupposing that she even likes you. I just don't get this. This is overdoing it. He's a coach. Why is he taking people down this fantasy high? And then when you do there, you get in the finals. And then if you do good in college, you'll be able, the pros will come after you. And then you'll have a nice car. And then you'll kill your wife. And then they'll be in jail. And then we'll be in the news. And then we...
Right at a very important part in the market, right? This level right in here, it's actually a little bit bigger. We can look at this level right in here as being a very important potential reversal zone or kill zone in the market. So you kind of have that.
Man. Well, if you put a bank of tickets in there, I'd almost have to agree that's a possibility. But, dude, you need to have like 10 strategies running simultaneously. Otherwise, you're just going to be a forex coach the rest of your life.
That confluence of that kill zone, that area of support, lining up with that trend line as well, and then looking for a long opportunity on the retracement. So Euro Canada is an interesting pair. Again, no matter how you look at it, I'm looking for a bullish type move.
Interesting pair. And you should see her sister.
And I actually have two ways to approach it going into next week. If you guys like this type of analysis, I recommend going over and checking out our website, tradingpower.com. We have a lot of fun stuff over there. We have a trading blog where I write a few articles and share a few videos a week. We have the Learn to Trade tab where we have hours and hours of free training over there, right? A massive amount of free training that you can take in. And then we also have our courses and
Okay, I'm having an anxiety attack. But let's go look at the chart. Let's consult the reality here. Let me see if I can figure out where he was at in that chart. So he was going to buy the pull, but I might have to flip back to his chart here. Please hold. So he's on the 1 hour chart here. I've got it queued up here. Semi-organized. Jesus. Yeah, here it is, right? Well, here's his entry zone right here. So you could have sold it here. I think this is it, right? He just posted this. Okay, so I got 20 pip handles here. As you can see, though, it wasn't about Fibonacci. It was about how many pips of punishment you could take. How deep is your pockets? And he had some wackadoodle. Now, mind you, this is supposed to run in 3 waves and go this way. Then he said, hey, let's buy on the retest of this. What if I bought here and I put my stop here? But you can see where the stops were. This is also a round number. Okay. Now, I know the last template I did, notice the magicness of this round number. This bottom becomes a top in time at the round number, and you can see that this is a triple divergence down to here. This is the RSI lower close. RSI is diverging, right? This is the trade block. How do you play that? You need to buy at a retest of this. Your buy limits are sitting always on the wicks. You need to trade this. I'm just saying. This is self-talk to myself. I'm talking to my subconscious. You need to trade this shit. Because if you accumulated 1K, you know this low exists, and you put a 1Ks in here, every time it comes back, you keep adding on, and you're building this position, and you're not going to get trapped on a buy-stop breakout, or maybe you do. You buy 3K on limits. You buy 3K on stops. You buy every hour it's down, you buy. Now you're some monster position here. And maybe you do have a stop, end of the world stop down here. Once this market busts out of this, if imagine this is your trade block, it's just a block of trades. The words only have meaning if you know what they mean to you. This is a smaller trade block, but this is a trade block too you're breaking out of. So these guys talk about the trade block like they're going to get in and the retest that. I get that, right? This is the round number of $1.50 Euro CAD. You don't need Fibonacci to trade this shit. And nobody's trading this on Fibonacci. People need this money at this price. This is a 20 pip grid here. I think the last 2 videos ago I posted the link to. Look, it's 20 pip battleground. A flag, right? But you can see the double top inside the block. The double top inside the block. You need an acronym for that, and then you just sell a course. But this trap trading here, now you really, I did that trade like this on the yen I just did a trade coming in the closed session. And it's really funny because they didn't fill me. I was too stingy. I put my orders a little bit too high. So if you're too far away, you're going to miss the entry. Now here, I don't know if you got filled on, depending what the spread here is, 1.5 pip. But, you know, you have to put a buy limit maybe on the top of this. But in the end, you're just saying, I commit to buying a 20 pip zone with a 20 pip stop. I'm looking to make 20 pips. But you could have made to here, and if your max exits here, and if you lay these orders in properly, I'm telling you it's golden, right? That's the holy grail of trading is order placement and sizing. Order placement and sizing is the holy grail, but those are the things that are tough sledding, because if I put a buy limit, start building buy limits in here, which is the obvious vault, even here, there could be a huge backlash. Market comes down there. What's it going to do? Well, typically it's going to fill that void and come smashing back up. So even here, if you were going to, I guess, conservatively get in, you're going to buy here on limits. You're going to buy here every 20 pips. And maybe they didn't fill this order, but what if you've got enough money and you've got the time and the energy to play 1Ks here? How lazy are you? If these are 2Ks, you're in a 40K. If you want to buy 100K, just buy a 3K every 2 pips for here. But this takes some thinking and a lot of order placement and a lot of like, you kidding? Now you could have gone to your day job and laid that whole fucking bank in with cash outs to here. You knew this low existed. This is your fucking exit door, whether you like it or not, and so is the top of these wicks. You have to trade this. It's a trade plan of many tickets on one currency just to see if it works. Well, fuck yeah, it works. I do it all the time. The key is waiting for these limits to fill down here. Now, if you put packs in here, these power packs, and you just put a grid of limits in here, this thing dippity-doos down here and it comes out. Some of these have to be scalps. Not everything can be this run. If you laid a bank of 60 grid, you're buying every 2 pips here a 1K. It's a 30K entry with a stop. And maybe you do have some that are going to get stopped out, depending how you lay them in here. But you need some that are going to have a 40 pip stop to make 40 pips in here. However you lay that in, some of these are 40 to make 40, but that's the trick. That's the key. You capture this whole 20 pip vault. And you could be cashing out of this shit. I'm telling you, 10 pip exits. I'm seriously going to say it's a higher probability you're going to make 10 pips on these bounces than you're going to make 40 pips and make this trade. There's a trend line here to be broken, but people are selling off that trend line the whole time. But are they really? Aren't they just selling high and buying back low? And isn't it really about the market going sideways in the end? All the other stuff's a side effect that it's a side issue cause of the bigger picture. You just bought here at the 20 because, and I put some orders in here, but they didn't get filled. So here, I got a hotkey assigned saved to this, right? So if I wanted to buy this, I would go like this. This is a 15-minute script that lays in, I think it's 10Ks on here. It's a demo. Like this. The next key is going to buy deeper, and the next key on here may be a stop. So there's my order flow trade. It's a dumbass trade because I should be buying low. I should be buying this hole down here. I don't know if that helps. I gotta see if this recording came out.